Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly Oracle Wisdom. My name is Natalie Sadie, and we are going to have a look at what the Oracle cards have to tell us for the energies for the week ahead. Sorry, I have an echo going on. Okay, my apologies, everybody. Okay, this speaks to how my brain is functioning right now. Thank you to everybody for being patient with me, for not showing up yesterday. I was really quite sick and incapable of getting myself together, let alone actually being able to channel this reading for you all. So I just needed to give myself that little break. I hope that everybody has had a good week. If you haven't already checked it out, I did do a February reading. I'll attach the link below so that you can go and have a look. We're not quite halfway through the month yet, so it is still worth watching. And if you've already watched it, it sometimes helps to rewatch it, just get that confirmation of what the message is, or maybe there's something else in there that you missed, which is suddenly very relevant. I also wanted to let you know that Anne and I will be back on Friday, this coming Friday, which is the 13th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Jay Gobend. I'm sorry, I'm probably murdering her last name. Jai is an incredible high viber. She does human design. I've had many wonderful conversations with her, and I'm really excited to get her onto the show. Okay, we already have cards jumping out. So I'm going to stop speaking now because I feel like I'm rambling because my brain isn't functioning the best. But you know what? Sometimes that helps with the channeling because everything else stops. Okay, we're just going to pull a few more cards and then we'll have a look at this. We're starting with the Ascending Life Oracle. Okay, yep. Okay. So we start out with playfulness, having more fun in life, not taking life too seriously, enjoying the little things in life, careful not to go overboard. Love offer, being asked out on a date, love to the next level, positive new love coming in, a job offer you would love. We have the Death card, inevitable end, big transformation, shedding required, dead end. And then we have Dice, time to take risks, getting out of your comfort zone, leap into the unknown, adventure awaits. So I just want to start by saying I've talked about this in the previous sort of several readings about this conjunction between Saturn and Neptune. We have Saturn, which is leaving Pisces on the 14th, so on Valentine's Day. So that's happening on Saturday. And that in itself is a big shift for all of us. Last time that Saturn left Pisces and came into Aries, we always knew Saturn was coming back. This time it's not. Once it goes into Aries, it's staying there. So I think that when we have these big shifts, especially with the outer planets, there is this element of change and shifting that is inevitable, that we don't have control over. So just know that change is coming this week, whether you like it or not. It's happening for the collective. It's happening for us at an individual level. And I know it can be scary, but I always say it's a good thing. And I say this as someone who, when change has been thrust upon me, when I have not wanted it, I have not wanted to let go of certain people in my life, I have had to accept it because the universe has just said, this is where you're at, and it's time for you people to go on separate paths. So know that as much as I'm sitting here saying this is happening whether you like it or not, and this is for your highest good, I genuinely mean that, and I say it having been through it wanted to resist it. So I think that the playfulness card is a reminder for us to have more fun through this process. We still have Jupiter retrograde. We've got so much moving in the astrology, and it can feel a little heavy, and we need to remember to take joy in the little things. For me, it will be when I can breathe properly and have full energy to do all the things that I want to do, versus being forced to move between my bed and my couch and think about everything that needs to be achieved, and I just can't. But you can't take life too seriously. When you are pushing yourself too hard, the universe will knock you on your ass and go, no, you're going to stop. I've given you warnings. I've given you signs. You haven't listened. So now I'm going to force it upon you. So this is why it's important to find joy in those little things. When you're with your partner and they start dancing around the room like an idiot, just because they're enjoying the song that's playing, or just to put a smile on your face, stop in that moment and just take it in. Enjoy what's happening in front of you. If it's a friend dropping by and saying, listen, I was in the area and I wanted to have a cup of tea, instead of being irritated that they've disrupted your productive day and you don't really have time to stop because you've got all these things going on, be grateful that this person cares about you enough that they stop by, want to spend time with you, and enjoy the next hour to 2 hours. It's not going to change anything. You're still going to get everything done, and you'll get to where you need to get to. Just, this is about balance. It's about still getting the things that you need to get done while finding joy in those little moments. Maybe it's you dancing around the room when a really good song comes on. You know, you're doing the housework, and I know people get joy out of cleaning. I get joy out of paying someone to clean, and I haven't been able to do that for a while. I have to do it myself. So there's always music playing, and if a good song comes on and I dance it out for that 4.5 minutes, that's a good time. So then we have love offer, and maybe you're not looking for love. That's fine. Maybe something's going to find you and you are so not prepared for it, in terms of it's not something that you're looking at or looking for. You know what? If somebody asks you out on a date, say yes, go for the plot. Just go and have fun and enjoy whatever takes place, and enjoy it for what it is. If you are in a relationship, it could mean that things are leveling up, that connection is getting a little bit deeper, and you hit a place that you just didn't know that you could, or you weren't sure that you guys were there yet. But there's this level of intimacy that just, you're just right there. The other side of this is, and if it's not a romantic love, it could be that something is offered to you that is going to bring you so much joy and that you are going to love. And it says here a job offer you'd love. I think it could be a number of different things, but there is going to be an offer that comes to you which is going to be so wonderful, and that you're really ready for. That's going to take you to the next level. As for the death card, I've said this so many times. I love this card. I love it because it represents change. It's the death of something in your life that isn't serving you anymore. So do I always love it when I'm going through it? No, not always. But what I love is what's on the other side. And this is what we have to focus on. So it is about big transformation. We are getting so close to the end of the year of the snake. And again, what does the snake do? It sheds its skin. So you've got to remember that all of these things are going on at the same moment. In terms of the astrology, you've got the Chinese astrology. So with all of these these big sort of transits that are happening with the outer planets, it means that things are coming to the end. So we're coming to the end of all this Pisces energy. And we're moving into fire. We're coming to the end of the year of the snake, and we're moving into the year of the horse. So there is this transformation happening, whether you like it or not. And then there is a possibility of the dead end. And for me, dead ends are just a redirection. It's that this path isn't the way that you're going to get to where it is you need to go to. And so you need to redirect. And I think I talked about this last week where I said, I always hated when people say to me, you need to, it's about the journey, not the destination. And it always pisses me off because I sit there and think, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I've worked so hard to get to that destination. It is absolutely about the destination. But the reality is, when you look back, it's all of those journeys that you've gone on. I went to Europe when I was 22, and I looked at modeling over there, and I met with a bunch of agencies and different people, and I was offered, a contract with a very large agency. They were going to put me up in a model house, and I did some photo shoots and all these different things. And the opportunities were incredible. And I ultimately decided not to go. It was everything I had ever dreamed of. And the journey that I went on was quite incredible, but I ultimately decided to go home. Now, in deciding to go home, my marriage ended and I went off on a completely different journey. It was after my marriage ending that I ended up in an abusive relationship. And all of those things sound terrible, right? In terms of, I missed out on, this sort of once in a lifetime opportunity and this dream. But what I found out was, I'm used to modeling in countries where they take 20% of your earnings. That's the deal with the agencies. You never pay them up front. They take a percentage of your earnings, and that's how they make their money. And this is why agencies will only ever take on people that they believe will make their money, because there's no point having someone on your books that isn't getting booked, because then they're not making anything. In Italy, they take 50 to 80%. Because that's just how it works. And if you complain, they just won't book you anymore. So, this is what it is. And as far as the relationship side of it goes, I wasn't left with any questions around my relationship with the man I'd married. He was my high school sweetheart. He's a really good man. We absolutely grew apart. We were so young when we got married. We were so young when we got together. So there were no questions as far as that goes. And as for my career got busier, and I was more successful than ever going back to Australia. The abusive relationship, well, you know what? I learned more in those 2 years than I think I would have learned in my entire life. So there's positives and negatives to everything. And I just think that the dead ends and the redirection serve us really well. Then we have the dice card. Time to take risks, getting out of your comfort zone, leap into the unknown, adventure awaits. This is a moment when things are ending. All of a sudden, you have a world of opportunity in front of you. And so this is your chance to take a risk, roll the dice, and see where things end up. And sometimes it's, being uncomfortable. And sometimes taking that risk is being asked out on that date. And as Iggy said in the chat, go for the plot, take one for the team. Yes, I have done that before. I have known when I was asked out on a date that I wasn't that interested. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go, because you never know. And most of them have turned out being really wonderful evenings, and, but we weren't compatible. There have been a few that have been disastrous and are my go-to stories when people want to know about bad dating stories. And there have been some in there that have been really wonderful, and I'm so glad that I went. So, and taking the risks isn't just about relationships. It could be that the opportunity to travel comes up. I don't know why I keep talking about travel, but that's what's coming up. So maybe there's something around that. But if there's an adventure that comes up and somebody comes to you and says, hey, do you want to? As long as you're safe, say yes. Say yes. Okay, so while I was shuffling, a few more cards jumped out. Boredom, bored of your daily routine, wanting more out of life, longing for a change, constrained by circumstances. So I feel like this is where we've been at. And this is why the playfulness is such an important thing. But I also think that this is where you've been, and we have these changes that are happening astrologically, whether you're looking at mundane astrology, Chinese astrology. So this is going to shift, but I feel like this is where we've been. And it's this holding pattern that I've been talking about for the last month or so, 6 weeks, where it's that end of year feeling that's dragged into this current year. Karmic cycle, settling scores in this life, karmic relationship, karmic patterns, negative cycles, personal growth. So I have a feeling that some of this shedding that's happening is the finalization of some of these karmic cycles. And sometimes when these karmic cycles are ending, it can mean that people are leaving our lives. So if that's what's happening, just know that there is something better coming in. And sometimes when these karmic cycles happen, there is a girlfriend who I reached out to a little while ago. I didn't hear back from her. With that being said, we're actually not in a bad place, but we hit a point where, kind of like my marriage, our friendship just went in different directions. And things shift. And I reached out to her because I kept dreaming about her. So something was telling me I needed to reach out. So I did. I sent her quite a long message and I left it to her whether she wanted to reach out or not. It's no big deal. It's fine. I was really sad when that friendship ended. But with that being said, so many other incredible friendships have come in, which are more in line with what I need and that are helping my growth and are lifting me up. Whereas that other relationship, I love this woman, but it was dragging me down. It got to that point where, the phone rings and you sort of go, oh, I don't want to do this today. So just understand that if things are ending and finishing up, it could very well be the end of this karmic cycle that is happening for you. So then we have surviving, barely hanging on, living paycheck to paycheck, burnout is knocking on your door, no savings, limited resources. So I think that things have been really challenging. And I know that a lot of people have been feeling this way, like they are just kind of existing is the word that I want to say. But you've got all of this change that is coming in, and part of the answer is going to be, are you going to say yes to the opportunities that are presented to you? Because the whole thing is, you are in control of your life in terms of making decisions as to whether things change or not. You make the choices of, I'm going to take this risk or I'm going to stay on the path that I'm currently on and that I'm comfortable with. So you have to make this decision as to what is going to change and how it's going to change. And maybe it's just deciding that you need to look for a new job. Maybe it's, I have to work a little harder. I've got to work smarter, and you've got to figure out that way. And through all of this, if you're sitting in that place of boredom, what is happening that you're not sitting there thinking about how else you can shift this up, what it is you can change? And I feel like this energy shifting in terms of the astrology is a really good thing, because it's kind of going to force us, like a kick up the ass, to step back out into the world. So the final card from the Ascending Life Oracle is burnout, having too many irons in the fire, not taking care of yourself, lack of control, all work, no life. So again, this is where we have to remember our playfulness. We have to remember to find joy in things. We have to say yes to those invitations to have fun and be silly. So I think we are literally straddling two worlds this week, and I think that there will be a shift later in the week. But this is all going to be about how you approach all of this. So we're going to pull a few cards from the Rose Oracle, which is Rebecca Campbell. And fun fact, this is my first ever Oracle deck that I got for myself, and I bought it years before I started actually reading Oracle cards. I saw the artwork and loved it, and so I bought them, and they sat on my coffee table for so long, and I would just look at the pictures, and then one day it all came together. But okay, I feel okay, so we have the rose thread, inner call, soul-led, the mystic, living courageously. So this is the week to take the leap and to trust what the universe is offering you. This is not the week to sit back and complain about where you are while doing nothing about it. I really believe that there are opportunities that are going to present this week, and this is where you need to say yes. This is where you need to be brave and go, right, this is what I'm going to do. Then we have the sacred union, beloved within, inner and outer relationships. So I love that often this, the second deck will confirm everything that we've talked about with the very first deck that came out. So we're talking about inner and outer love here, and then we've got the love offer that's apparently coming through this week. So if there is something that comes up this week that presents itself, say yes. Like I said, if it doesn't lead to a relationship, that's fine. It might lead to the story, or it might lead to the universe going, you know what? They're ready. They're ready for me to present the person to them. I told this story at some point last year where I was talking to someone and they said, you must get asked out all the time. And I laughed and said, no, I never get asked out. And I think I was in my late 20s. And they said, how is that possible? I said, I don't know. And I went off and I thought about it, and I realized that everyone in sort of recent memory that had asked me out, and there weren't that many of them, I had said no to. And I went, oh my God, now I don't get asked out at all. So the solution in my mind was the next person that asked me out was to say yes to. And I did. And he was such a lovely guy, and we had a really wonderful night, and he wasn't the one. But after that, I was out dating probably one date a week. I've never been on a dating app. This was just meeting people in the wild. And I was out dating once a week, every week for several months. And then I met someone that I was in my next relationship with. And it took me signaling to the universe to say, hey, I'm ready, for the universe to go, okay, if you're ready, then I'm ready. And it started sending that to me. The thing we have to remember here is there has to be inner love as well. So you have to love who you are. And this isn't saying to people, I love who I am and I'm so comfortable with myself. This is genuinely being comfortable in your own skin and genuinely loving who you are and accepting you for who you are as you are. And we all talk about this, but we have to be honest, it's a process. We are always our own worst critics. We are scared to put ourselves out into the world because we worry about how people will judge us. And often it's because we judge ourselves. So this is, a time to work on your relationship with yourself while being open to the relationships that are coming from those around us. Then we have rose without thorns. You have a right to your joy, peace, sweetness of life. So this is a time for you to enjoy. I'm just realizing I'm wearing a I don't have any perfume on. I've got some rose essential oil. So I'm just chuckling to myself that I ended up pulling out the Rose Oracle, but I knew as soon as I woke up today that this was the deck that I needed to use. So yeah, this is a time for you to focus on your peace, your joy, and what is going to sustain you. So you need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. And this playfulness card, this plays into the sweetness of life. One of the best things we can do is to laugh and have fun and find joy from the things that are around us. So make sure that you are taking care of that this week. We are going to finish up with, I feel like it's 2 cards. I was going to do 1, but I feel like it's 2 from the Inner Child Oracle, which is Amanda Lynn Aisling. Oh, okay. Nope, it's 3. Feeling unwell, I felt like we needed to talk about self-care because I have had no choice but to do it. Be true to who you are. See, again, I talk about the confirmation of these cards. Be true to who you are. Fear will not stop you from shining. The whole thing about fear is if you allow fear to take over, it won't stop you from shining, but it'll certainly slow you down. It's like trying to move through life with a ball and chain wrapped around your ankle. So it is time for you to fly. Look at that unicorn. It's almost like a cross between a butterfly and the unicorn with those wings. And it's time for you to fly and be free and have the freedom that is available to you. Okay, then we have let go of the past. It's time to envision a new story. Perfect. Perfect as we're stepping into these transits that are forcing us to move into this new chapter. This is your reminder that you have to let go of all the things that aren't serving you, that you've been hanging on to, that you're afraid of moving on without. Life is beautiful and incredible on the other side of everything that you're letting go of. And when we let go of people or situations from the past that don't serve us, it doesn't mean that the beauty of those memories dissolve or go away. We carry them with us for the rest of our lives. I will forever be grateful to my ex-husband for the 10 years that we had together. I mean, we got together when I was 15. We were friends from when I was the age of 10. And he was such a good man. And that relationship served me through that part of my life. And I will carry that with me always. I will always be grateful to him for all of that. But when it was done, it was time to move on and create new memories with new people. And then we have breathe in, practice breath work daily. I know breath work isn't something that everybody is into, but even doing basic things of just, if you're sitting somewhere and fear is starting to take over, to focus on your breath. Breathe in for 3 and out for 3. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Maybe 5 if that cycle works better for you. To bring you back into your body and to ground you so that you are able to be brave enough to move on and forward in the way that you need to. For me, getting to sleep is always a little tricky for me. So focusing on my breath is generally what gets me to fall asleep. And it's making my breath even and counting how many in, how many out. I generally don't get past 5 breaths before I think that I'm out or at least drifting off. So in a week where we have a lot going on in terms of change, shedding, being redirected, and yet dealing with, karmic cycles that we're going through, whether it be the karmic cycles coming to an end or being caught up in all of that, feeling like we're surviving or we're a little burnt out, it is a week to make sure that you are very much in your body and very much grounded so that you can move through all of this change and get to this next chapter. So I think that this is a big week. I think that there is a lot going on, but it is nothing that we can't handle. And honestly, I find it super exciting. I think that when there is a change and the unknown lays before us, and there's the opportunity for growth and opportunity for new and exciting things coming in, it means that our dreams and everything that we've envisioned for ourselves is totally possible. I hope that this reading resonated for some of you, if not all of you. As I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Thank you again for all your patience and well wishes. I am so appreciative for all of that. Make sure you go check out February's monthly reading, either as a check-in halfway through the month, or just find out what the reading has to tell you for your month of February. And also don't forget to join Anne and I on Friday, February 13th for our next Gemini Rising. We're going to be diving into all things human design, and I can't wait for that. I will see you then. Have a great week, everyone.